You know, I was really broken because I'm sure my mom was worried. She had not spoken to me in a while. She was like, where are you? What's going on? You know, and things were really bad for me financially. So I was looking at the phone, broken, almost at the point of tears. Some guy just comes from behind me with a gun and says, give me that bag now and give me that phone. I'm not joking. I turned around and charged at him. The response was, it'd be like saying increase. And don't ever get to that point where you're ready to just end it all, because there's always just something a little further. And honestly, I think a few months after that, I had one big break, turned things around significantly, that I left Abule bands, you know, so many things. And then I discovered something called financial inclusion. It was like I discovered fire. This was supposed to be the thing to save Africa. So I was so excited about it. Like, the goal of financial inclusion was great, but the practitioners of financial inclusion were not actually doing the spirit of financial inclusion, which is why I left media to get my hands dirty. What we termed financial inclusion in Nigeria to be was account opening. And I keep asking myself, what is the use of a bank account to Mama Risi? What does she need a bank account for? If she wants to send money to her son in UI, Mama Tokpe is going to Ibadan. You know, help me give my son this money. If she wants to save, there's Ajo in the local community. Mama Risi has no use for a bank account in the way Nigerian bank accounts operate. The banking system in the world is broken. Why should I chase 17,000 people that can contribute 1,000 when I can chase you that can give me 50,000? Government wants to give 30K to people. Whether it is 30K, whether it's 20K, the people are not going to know, Abi. They will know. So I'm saying, instead of giving them 30K cash, why not make it 20K cash and then put 10K into health insurance and pensions? Now, two things you've done with this money. You've given this person cash. You've ensured that he's going to be healthy throughout the year because he now has access to healthcare. You've put some money into the healthcare system, and you've also put some money into the pension system with the same 30K. And that is why you see that Awabah is still the only company that is doing pension tech. The new Pension Act makes it such a way that the pension fund administrator and the pension fund custodian are two different entities. The custodian is like the bank of the administrator. The money to save Africa is in Africa, has always been in Africa.
The real conversation happens beyond the boardrooms. Join me at an intersection of business and lifestyle. Where suits meets t-shirts. This is the Frankly Business Podcast. Welcome.
Hi guys. Welcome to another episode of the Frankly Business Podcast. You know how we do it here. We just break down these issues in the world of business. And guys, I've got a story to share with us. Guess what? So I think it was some 5 years back or 6 years. Yeah. Then I used to have a radio show in Port Harcourt and moved down to Lagos. And I was like, I wanted to transition into business media because I love business. I run business. Then in Port Harcourt, I was running a business and also doing media. So I just had to say, okay, how can I bring two passion? And so that I just focus my energy into one thing and decided to venture into business media. But how? I was thinking, okay, the best way to go about this is to look for somebody who's been there and perhaps have done that and tell the person to just hold your hand and take you down the road. And I found somebody. I remember that very day I was listening to radio, Nigeria Info. Shout out to Nigeria Info, the Nigeria Info family, by the way. I was listening to radio and I heard a voice, very, very business-oriented mindset and coming from a business-oriented mindset. And I was like, okay, I love what this guy is doing. I want to do this. And I was like, okay, how do I go about this? The following day, I went to the radio station, guys, and I just targeted, I knew the time that he rounds up the show, and I just went there, went to the gate. Obviously, you're not allowed to gain entry. You know how we do it here now. We just follow the gate man, talk, how far, 1 or 2. But then I targeted when he was going to be coming out. I saw him coming outside, and he had his signature brand, his coffee. I'm surprised why he's not even holding his coffee here. And I asked him, hey, let me grab you a cup of coffee here now from the barman. And he said no, that he's fine. I think he's trying to cut down maybe excesses or something.
Nope.
He's going to tell me to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. And then I went to the gate. As I got to the gate, I saw him coming outside and I had one shot You know that elevator pitch that they always talk about? It's very important because when you find your helper, you don't have a second chance to create a first impression. You only have one shot. And that was what I did. I pulled the trigger, guys, and I hit the target. I shot my shot. I met him. I said, I love what you do. I want to do this. I have an MVP. I showed him the MVP. I've done something like this before. And I said, hey, come on Friday. Let's have this show together. And that was how I found myself on radio talking about business. Nigerian Info, guys. Now, let me doff my hat. I want to say very, very big thank you. I've not said that publicly, but I want to really, really say that I appreciate you. I thank you very much, Tunji Andrews. This is who we have on this episode of the Frankly Business Podcast. By the way, his transition. Now, you know how in life you get to the plateau of a particular, or you get to the zenith of a particular industry, and the next thing you want to do is to go somewhere else and trailblaze. And that is what he's literally doing. He's moved from media, but our everyday life, as a matter of fact, is media.
Yeah.
So I can't literally say he's moved from media, but actively from media, and he's gone into the tech ecosystem, doing great stuff in the fintech space. And that is why we're like, okay, let's have you, Tunji Andrews, the founder of Awabah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, sir.
I keep saying that you give me high praise for that, because to be honest with you, how will I explain it? My venture into media also was, I mean, yours was calculated, mine was a mistake. Mine was accidental. And I still remember that there was someone who pretty much paved the way for me in media. There were two people, actually. One helped me get my first show. Her name is Faith. She helped me get my first show on City FM. And then after that, Mazzino,
Mazzino.
Yeah. Mazzino Appeal.
Yeah.
Got me on the Smooth FM. And pretty much Smooth FM blew things up for me. So I was never gatekeeping. It's just you were just the one. No, you were not the one person, but you were just one of the very few that were bold enough to make the request.
Yeah.
Because I was open to bringing people in, but I just didn't think there was anybody that was interested. So that was why it was very easy when you just said it. I was like, you have to ask, okay, come on Friday, we'll do it together. So yeah, I do remember that. So it wasn't really that, and of course I wanted to have more people in the space, because still now we still don't have too many people.
Yeah, in business media.
Yeah, so the more people, the better, really. The more people.
And I've got no other person but Kelechi Ogoke, who is the vice president of the Godfather Production, and also my co-host. Kelechi, you're very much welcome, brother. How you doing?
Thank you. We just produced a music video, a hit.
Oh,
It's out on all YouTube platforms.
Oh, so good.
We're happy about that, and we are pushing. Well, I want to ask you a question about this. When Frank showed me, I was laughing. I was like, coming out that day from your show, how did you feel when you saw somebody ambush you like?
Oh no. So to be honest with you, so that show used to be called the Money, Business, and Economy Show.
Yeah.
And what we were trying to do at the time was just to explain financial matters to the average everyday person. So I had that happen to me many times. I've had from the bros, I beg, I won't buy Sienna, but I use and do transport to this bank took my money and I don't know how to get it back. So I've had many of those kind of experiences, but the general context really of that, why that conversation was different, was that it was short, straight to the point, and it was something I could action immediately.
Okay.
Do you get? So that was why it was not like, oh, I want to see you and I have a conversation. Maybe you would have never done it. Do you get? So he went straight to the point. I'd like to do this. I'm like,
So, Frank, you start with a masterclass.
Exactly.
Okay, big opportunity, right?
On how to shoot your shot.
So we had, I think, some episodes back, we had one of the sales gurus in Nigeria come on the show. We're talking about sales, and I'm like, it's one of the it's one of the life-saving skill that every potential entrepreneur, every human should even have. Not even only entrepreneurs, because you're in the business of selling. If you don't know it, and whether you're a tech person or you're always the person behind the scene, you're still selling. You're going to sell your skill. If you're a writer, you're selling your content. In one way or the other, we're selling. And so we should in one way or the other learn how to sell.
Very important.
And pull the trigger. And when you're pulling the trigger, hit the target. Go straight to the point. Make it short, and demand.
On your profile now, just put
Yeah, well, so the action points were very easy. My name is I do this. I would like to do this. So it was clear. It was clear. If I wasn't the one to be able to make it happen, there was always somebody I could point to. So it was very clear.
So guys, but then this is not about business media. Let's go straight into why we came here. Look at what has been happening. The pension industry is a very, very fun industry. Don't go anywhere, because when you hear pensions, I'm sure, I just tune off like, what's this one? I'm still young. Yes, I know. Yes, I know you're young. And this information is for that 10-year-old guy, 15-year-old guy, 18-year-old guy, 20-year-old lady, or anybody, as a matter of fact. Even as Gen Zs, Generation Alpha, it matters, because how you've seen your parents, how they are living their life now. And I'm sure even if your father is Dangote, you want to live better than him, right?
True.
You want to live better. And how do you live better other than planning for that better life right from now? It always looks like it's far off.
Yeah.
But when was the 2022 Ikeja bomb blast?
2002.
Was it 2002 or 2005?
No, it was 2002.
2002, right?
Yeah.
I can remember that very day. I can remember
It's like yesterday.
how we played that. And this is 23 years back. I don't know if you get my point. So it just tells you how 25 years can just come and catch you on the way.
I remember there's a friend of mine, when we were, I think we were, he just turned 30 at the time.
Yeah.
So I sent him a Facebook, Facebook was a thing then. So I sent him a Facebook message like, happy birthday. I was like, we met 10 years ago, let's get to work. Because, that time we met 10 years ago is like yesterday. That's how 10 years is going to come.
True.
Another 10 years, I'll be 40. So let's get to work. Guess what? That 10 years has come and gone.
It happened to Nigeria.
It happened to Nigeria. Gone.
The crazy part is you get distracted. I don't know that it's seeking.
Yeah, true.
Time is going like
Time is going.
flying by. And as you improve as you mature, it also becomes your ally, because you realize that it's flying. When you're going through very, very difficult positions, difficult situations in life, that time is also your ally in this matter.
True.
Because time will pass. Time will pass. So you're always like, you know what?
These two shall pass.
It cannot kill us. It cannot kill us. This too shall pass. So yeah.
So I think I would love to start this way. That I remember one time you shared a particular video on IG. By the way, you should follow him, Tunji Andrews, on all platforms, right? On all platforms. Tunji Andrews.
Yes, Tunji Andrews.
Okay. So you shared a particular video and you were talking about your story, how you started. I think one time you talked about Abulegbar, if I can remember, the boss, and how something happened or something. So just take us through the ropes. Ventured into media, and now you're doing massively in the tech ecosystem. Before we even go into pension,
so people will not find this story difficult to relate to.
Okay.
I'm now thinking for my brand, should I tell this story? Okay, so I used to live in Abulegba, and at the time I couldn't get a job. So I used to teach in primary schools around the area, just to be able to get a bit of income. And because of the way the salaries in those schools came, you know, they'll pay you that you start working first term, they won't be able to pay you second term, and they'll pay you part of third. You know, So to get to the schools, I had to walk. Long walks, very long walks to be able to get to the schools. So one particular day I was one of those mornings where I was broken. I was walking to one of the schools to teach, and my mom had just called. She was calling. I was looking at the phone. I couldn't pick the call, you know, because I think it was a Nokia 6600. You know those Nokia 6600? But it was a bad phone. You couldn't pick it. You would just see the call there.
Like dumbbells, very heavy.
You couldn't pick it. So I was looking at the phone, but I was carrying my bag. Then somebody, you know, I was really broken because I'm sure my mom was worried. She had not spoken to me in a while. She was like, where are you? What's going on? You know? And things were really bad for me financially at the time. So I was looking at the phone, broken, almost at the point of tears. Some guy just comes from behind me with a gun and says, give me that bag now and give me that phone. I'm not joking. I turned around and charged at him. I'm not joking. I charged at him. The response was, it'd be like say the Chris. And be like, you know, when you're frustrated, like they're like, if he will shoot you, it's better that we just go now. It's better we just pass here and go.
Yeah.
So it was that story. I look back at it and I say, it's one of the stories where I tell young people like, see, don't ever get to that point where you're ready to just end it all, because there's always just something a little further. And honestly, I think a few months after that, I had one big break that turned things around significantly, that I left Awabah and, you know, so many things. But if that guy had shot me, because the guy was shocked, you know, when you're with a gun and somebody's charging at you without anything.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was like, what is wrong with this guy? Even his accomplice, which was on the other side with a bike, say, I beg, leave the guy.
This one
Honestly, it was a very ridiculous day, but yeah, it's one story I look back on.
Well, I think what's consistent in people that have done significantly well in their life, when they tell their should I use the grass to grace story, is that you find that point whereby they nearly gave up. And
that nearly gave up story is many. It's not that one alone. So you see, I think at every point you get to different. So that was, I need to give up on life because nothing is working. Then it will now change to, I want to give up on life because my dreams are not working.
Yeah.
Then it will turn to, I want to give up on life because as I dreamt it is not happening like that. So there are many different stages.
Sure.
Obviously, if everything goes bad, God forbid, and I return back to Awabah again, same apartment, same room, same everything, same situation, there's nothing that will bring me to that level of frustration, because I can see steps that can take you out.
True.
And I know the way out of that place, you understand?
Yeah.
But because at that point I couldn't see beyond my situation, it just felt like this is the end. So I think with everybody, you just meet it at different levels. And after that, about to give up, there's always, and I'm sure that's why those people say, don't give up. There's just, because when you see it, it's really true.
So last, what motivational speakers say is true.
It is true, honestly.
Yeah. Very
true. It's just a little bit more if you just hold on, because time always outlasts that problem.
Oh my.
Time always outlasts it. There's nothing, I don't think there's anything that is as bad as time not being able to fix it.
Well, the vision there for Tunji Andrews and where you are right now, I think you is there a big difference?
The goal is still the same.
Okay.
The pathway has changed. So shortly after that, I started a consultancy and I started working, doing a few things. And then I discovered something called financial inclusion. it was like I discovered fire. This was supposed to be the thing to save Africa. So I was so excited about it. Like, you know, if we can put more people into this financial system, more people can get loans, you know, banking, you know, this is what is going to save Africa.
Yeah.
And that is why I went into media, because that was my goal. I was so excited about, you know, if I tell more people about financial inclusion and more people are getting into this space, we'll have more people, you know, improve.
Yeah.
I then realized that the goal of financial inclusion was great, but the practitioners of financial inclusion were not actually doing the spirit of financial inclusion. So I realized that it was not about education. We needed to have more practitioners practicing, which is why I left media to get my hands dirty.
Okay, what do you mean by more practitioners practicing?
Okay, so before you go into that, we're going to take a quick break, guys. And we'll be back.
Where suits meets t-shirts. This is the Frankly Business Podcast. Welcome.
So welcome back, guys. You said, Kel, you what does it mean by less practitioners?
Yeah, because
space?
taking the cue from what he said, financial inclusion. I was reading a book and it spoke about Bangladesh and how they were able to elevate people from poverty. It was a lecturer. He was teaching in a school in Bangladesh, and he found out most of the students were in focus because they have to do other side hustles to get engaged. And he was like, okay. And women were in Bangladesh were able to work. They wanted to work, but they don't have money to start up their own business. So what he did was that he now started helping them get loans. They paid back quickly, and that's how Bangladesh went from being one of the poorest nations in the world to being one of, I cannot say the richest, because to being well off.
Yeah.
So when I wanted to get to the point of, okay, the practitioners and the financial inclusion, how does it?
So, financial inclusion basically is a system where more people are included into the financial services sector. So, and the goal really of banking is that when money goes into a bank, it never sits there. It is that money that you put into the bank that then creates the loan for Mr. A, which Mr. A goes to go and do his business, then, you know, pays his children's school fees, money just keeps flowing, right?
Yes.
So you think that with the more people inside that space, with more money inside that ecosystem, there's more money for people to get loans and increase, just like the Bangladesh story.
Yeah.
But I realized that what we termed financial inclusion in Nigeria to be was account opening.
No wonder you see UBA going through people. Sorry. I just do. So no wonder you see them trooping to schools.
It became account opening.
Yeah.
Let's give more people account. Let's open account for people. And I keep asking myself, what is the use of a bank account to Mama Risi? Let's ask the question. Mama Risi what does she need a bank account for? If she wants to send money to her son in UI, Mama Tokwe is going to Ibadan. For me, you know, help me give my son this money.
Yeah.
If she wants to save, there's Ajo in the local community.
Yeah.
Mama Risi has no use for a bank account in the way Nigerian bank accounts operate. Absolutely no use. Or wait, let's leave Mama Risi. Ahmed in Kano. What is the use of a bank account to Ahmed?
That's why I see most of them storing money at home.
These people carry cash in millions. What is the exact use of a bank account to them, aside taking fees? Recognizing this was like was a point for me where you feel like you had been deceiving people. There was deception and you have joined in the deception. Do you get? Because I was preaching financial inclusion, and most people that know me for over the last maybe 15 years know that my goal has been financial inclusion.
Very true.
So if I had been preaching financial inclusion and I now realize that what I've been preaching was a lie, then you come to the point where you are asking yourself, who is in this space? Who is really doing financial inclusion? So what I did was, before we started Awabah, I went to a few fintechs that I had access to. I said, guys, I like what you're doing, but there's a space that nobody's touching. Would you like to look at it? Don't worry. Don't allocate resources to it. I will personally go and do it. And I would do it for you. Right?
Yeah.
And in hindsight, I now realize why they didn't accept, because this startup world is so difficult. So difficult.
99 failures, one success.
You get. So for them to be able to pivot their focus to what I was saying was very difficult for them. So I felt, if nobody is doing it, let's go to the real work of financial inclusion. Let's create financial services that are useful to people. When I say useful, so I am including myself into this financial service space, and as the financial provider is gaining money, I am also gaining benefits. Because the truth about it is that you use bank accounts, which is great for you because, I mean, you want to quickly transfer, you just send me out you push, right?
Sure.
That is the use for you. Your money, you don't want to keep cash on home. That's the use for you. But for the people we're trying to include, bank accounts have zero use to them. So if we're going to include them, then we must create financial services that are useful to them. What is Mama Risi? What is the need? What does Mama Risi need? She needs health insurance. What does Mama Risi need? Health insurance that makes sure that when that back that used to pain her starts happening, she can go to the hospital. When that eye that is always paining her happens, she can go to the hospital.
Very true.
Without spending more. What does Mama Risi need? She needs a loan without the high interest rates, right? Mama Risi needs to be able to, she doesn't even need the loan. She just wants to buy this new machine. She just wants to be able to go there. This is my bank. I need the machine. Give me, I'll be paying you back.
Yeah.
Those are the things that financial inclusion require, not account opening. And that is what we started to create with Awabah, in terms of making sure that Mama Risi let me tell you a story about one of the very first customers we had. The woman sells logs. This timber, logs that they cut into. So you see the planks, the straight planks. Before the straight planks, they are logs where they will go and fell the trees from wherever.
Yeah.
She sells those logs, and then if you come to her store, she'll now slice it for you. Her daughter was now telling me that her mother saves 100,000 a week, and she has been saving 100,000 a week for almost 30 years. Now, listen to this. The account officer that the woman is working with comes every week, collects the 100,000 into the account. And in my mind, I'm like, this is wickedness. Because she's putting that 100,000 in a bank account. The bank is collecting fees on that bank account. The money is doing nothing for the woman outside that 100K.
Inflation is coming.
You get.
Yeah.
If we were really doing financial inclusion, the account officer should tell her that, Mama, after every quarter, this your money, we should carry it and put it in a high-yielding something.
True.
But, sorry to cut you. The question is, are most of these account officers aware?
Yes. If he stops, if he removes the money from her,
important question.
if he removes the money from the account, his target falls. We have built banking to be target-driven, not value-driven. Think about it. So for me, I didn't say anything. I just quietly left the space because I realized that I saw these things and I felt like a hypocrite. Now imagine this woman. I didn't want to start calculating how much she had just put in an account and built. The daughter was telling me that the mother sent her and her younger sister abroad off that business. So it's not like this woman didn't have money. It's not like this woman didn't have revenue. There was
She
nothing.
wasn't black and broke.
There was nobody telling her and helping her increase the wealth that she already had. This woman should have had multiple leverage points if we were really doing the work of financial inclusion.
So how to put you on the spot now? Do you feel like the banking system is broken in Nigeria?
The banking system in the world is broken. The banking system.
So why are we still taking our money to the banks?
Because it belongs to the government. I love to say this. Because it belongs to the government. Let me give you a classic example. I think I read a particular article and I was just curious because when you see a lot of things like, why call something Q1 when you can say quarter and people will understand, or first 3 months and people will understand? Why call something FY1 and people, where you can say the first year? I don't know if you get my point. And people will understand. So I now started doing research and I discovered, I think it was from Robert Kiyosaki. He made mention of something, one of his books. He said, the financial system is deliberately designed to make you not understand what happens there. And if you're kept in the dark, there'll be no reason for you to critique what is happening. And you know what happens in the dark? Now, there are bad things there. So if you don't understand what is happening there, you can't really question. You get. So you see a tech bro who is writing some jargons on his screen, and you're just passing by, and I just say, what is this? And he said, I'm designing something. I'm doing
SQL.
And exactly. And you're watching, and you're lost, and he just keeps quiet. You just leave him because you don't understand. You're lost, and there'll be no interest. But if he tells you, oh, this code I'm doing, this is the bug this thing is fixing, oh, this is the feature is adding to the app, oh, you're gonna, right?
Yes.
Become much more interested and fascinated. So that's why you see that early those years, a lot of people were not included as merchants, as stakeholders, as players in the space. Only the few, and the few actually came in from the government. People who were part of, who understood what it means to have a share of the national cake and how much of that the financial system controls. So when you've seen, oh boy, these guys are trading a lot of cash. So you obviously want to put your head down and understand. Right. So they deliberately create a lot of nuances, a lot of gray areas, and then
a lot of jargon.
Except of course, the goal is not financial inclusion. Except the goal, because there are different levels. There's financial inclusion and there's underbanking people. So what we have in Nigeria a lot of the time is that we are underbanked.
Oh, so fintech startup rode on that for years to raise capital.
So a lot of us are underbanked. So there are few. So, for instance, in some countries with some certain types of accounts, if you don't have enough money in your card and you go to the ATM, it will still pay out.
Yes.
It'll decide the overdraft there and there and give you overdraft right there. You don't need to go 2 weeks. You don't have to talk to anybody.
Is that not risky for the Nigerian banking system when we are poor with data? We don't have. Nope. I'll give you a classic example. Should I mention I think it's a public information. Kuda. Look at what happened to their books. Did you see that report? Well, so there are a couple of where you have to checkmate a couple of things and say, okay, yes, I can use this as a lead magnet to get people on board into my ecosystem. But at the same time, I have to be very, very careful because you don't have the data to be able to track those customers.
There's BVN now. Does BVN not?
So that's even the thing. That's the new Lapo. Lapo, well. So
we'll give you that.
So the thing is,
because if you're trying to include everybody and you're saying, okay, they should deliver value as regards giving overdraft, they don't have the data to be Nigerians. There's this trust. We have very low trust quotient.
So first of all, with the I know that Kuda did well in recovering those loans. But again, here's the thing. When I say the infrastructure credit rates you and gives you credit on the spot, it's that it's able to run your data immediately. So if you don't have data, it won't give it to you. Sure, you understand?
Oh yeah.
It won't give it to you. It's not available to everybody. But my point is that once you have been working with the system to a certain point, there are things that are available for you.
Yeah.
So for instance, you go in some parts of the world, you don't pay cash when you want to buy a car.
Yes.
You just sign documents, they run your credits, is workable, you take your car key and you leave. You don't actually go with anything. You just go collect car key and go home. Nigeria is not like that. So when there is that level of being underbanked in Nigeria. So that is what a lot of our banks were doing, but they named it financial inclusion.
But the federal government launched an initiative recently. I think it's the credit, I've forgotten the name, whereby you can go in and get credit if you want to purchase a car, a house, and the rest. But I don't know if the deadline was May 15th.
You know, we're good with launching so many things, but implementation is the
and I don't even think government needs to launch anything. We have loads of fintechs, we have loads of banks that can push those products. My general context is not that the banks cannot do it. Is that the appetite to do it is not there.
Is it because the spending power of the people is not high?
Low disposable income, no? Yeah.
Why should I chase 17,000 people that can contribute 1,000 when I can chase you that can give me 50,000? Think about it. 17,000 from 17 people. You won 50,000.
I'll go for the one.
So when I say that our banking system was target driven in terms of the creation, is what I mean. So you find out that most banks and their workforce are driving heavily towards the people who can put the big cash on the ground, which isn't bad. Honestly, they are businesses, they must make money. That is why they are in business.
Yeah.
But like I said, except of course we are not saying we're doing financial inclusion. Because if we say we're doing financial inclusion, that is not financial inclusion. That is something completely different. That is banking people, that is properly banking people and making sure they are properly banked. But inclusion means this person doesn't have an account. This person doesn't have access to any financial service.
Yeah.
I want to go in and make sure that he is included, he starts using financial services and is captured in the ecosystem. So when I'm saying this, I'm talking about Mama Risi that is in the market. I'm talking about Emeka in Awabah that is just coming through. I'm talking about Musa that is selling something somewhere. You get? I'm talking about those people that have never had access to financial services. That is the inclusion we are talking about.
So what role does microfinance play in all this?
Microfinance is also broken. So microfinance in Nigeria as it is, to get a loan, you have to have tangible collateral. So it is, and I need to say what I'm saying. I need to explain what I'm saying so that it's clear. There are levels of income needs. So the income need where if I already have something to place as collateral is not the financial inclusion place. Do you get? If I have a grinding machine that you can use as collateral, I am not the one that you are looking to include again. I'm higher. The people we are including are the bottom of the pyramid. So if we really say we have, and
Maslow hierarchy of needs.
And if you say we are trying to include the millions of Nigerians that do not have any financial services, those are the people. I think it was in India or so, when they were signing up for their national identity, immediately it was opened side by side. They opened a wallet, a digital wallet for them. So as you are, imagine when we're opening our NIN.
Yeah.
Immediately you open your NIN, there's a digital wallet beside it. So when the government wants to give interventions,
I think government is trying to do that. They talked about it.
Not only are they trying to do it, it is long in the work. I know that the conversation started under Goodluck Jonathan, where we're supposed to have a national identity card that will have a pin on it that you could use as ATM also.
Mm-hmm.
I know that. So that is the context of financial inclusion. So we've now registered you as an entity. We now know you. We know your next of kin. We know where you live. We know your local government. We've created a digital wallet beside it. In the mix of it, we now want to give intervention. We're sharing 20K. We already know the people we are going to give. It's not as if we'll go to one market and say 20K day here, more than can collect. We already know who to give. We put it into that wallet. You use that, your card, to access it. We have a relationship with you. We're including people into the system. You get? So if we want to, and we tie that to your bank account, we now know you, there's a bank account. We're able to connect the BVN together. We can now even say if we want to tax you, we know you.
Very true.
We want to improve your life, we know you. So that is inclusion. So what we were doing between 2010 and 2020 that we thought was financial inclusion wasn't.
But look at it this way.
Okay.
Sorry, Frank.
Yeah.
We see social intervention fund being disbursed every time.
Yeah.
I know one doing a year to the 2015 campaign.
Yes.
The government started trading money. Whereby they go to the market and give 10,000 and they campaign heavily on it.
Yeah.
And I'm looking like from the insights you just shared, and I was like, okay, why does the government not partner with people that can create financial inclusion?
That is a question. So let me even tell you how deep it is.
Yeah.
What I was proposing to a few people, especially when we started this micro pension thing. So I'm thinking to myself, government wants to give 30K to people. Whether it is 30K, whether it's 20K, the people are not going to know, Abi.
Yeah.
They won't know.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, instead of giving them 30K cash, why not make it 20K cash and then put 10K into health insurance and pensions?
Giving them in kind.
Now, two things you've done with this money. You've given this person cash. You've ensured that he's going to be healthy throughout the year because he now has access to healthcare. You've put some money into the healthcare system, and you've also put some money into the pension system with the same 30K that you were going to give him, and he was going to go and just eat with it.
Yeah.
Now, part of poverty is also health. One of the reasons why I am officially poor is that I am feeling something here. But instead of me to go to the hospital and ask, doctor, I am feeling something,
You said that.
I'll just say, now so they do me, now so I fever they come. Do you get?
Yeah. Go be Panadol.
Yeah. When I mix alabukun with 3 shots of something.
Yeah.
It's not that he wants to drink that alabukun and that 3 shots, but he knows that
If I go hospital,
do you get?
yeah.
So let me tell you how the funniest thing. So our product, we call it Value Bar. It's for 3,000 naira a month. You get health insurance, life insurance, accident cover, and micro pensions for 3,000 naira a month. Now, we started to sell it to people that had large numbers of gig workers.
Of what?
Gig workers.
Okay.
So your delivery guys and everything.
Yeah.
We just realized that we always thought to ourselves, because we're selling it to individuals and people will not go. People will not want to buy. Like how I know they go hospital now. But when we started selling it to these organizations that had large number of gig workers, we realized that every month then they go hospital. So we now start asking ourselves that, wait, is it us that is causing the sickness? I mean, the sickness has always been there.
It's absolutely.
Do you get? Because everybody feels something. Now, it's until I got health insurance that I started going to the hospital.
Yeah. I think same here too. Same. And
this is me that I had money then. No.
As a matter of fact, let me tell you, how it happened. Me, anytime it's about to expire,
you start feeling okay.
No, I'll go. I'll do what was it called? Scaling and polishing. I'll go check. I'll go and do check up. I think you want this money.
See, there's so many. It's weird that even little things like feeling dizzy. So you hear that the guy just slumped and he died.
Blood pressure.
We always hear those things.
True.
He just slumped and he died. I'm not saying these people don't go to the hospital, but if you check a lot of those cases, is that the person was walking it off. Now because I just lie down. ma come out, ma just shake body small. It's a move. And sometimes it's just, and you've also had situations whereby you get to the hospital where the doctor will say, if you had waited one more day, is your dead body that they brought you here. Look at your blood pressure.
Very true.
So we are not so poverty starts from healthcare. So if that 30K, government just say, instead of 30K, let's give you 20K. But anytime you need healthcare this year, just go hospital.
I think
agency
was so profound.
Yeah, what's the agency that is in charge of social intervention?
It's not that humanitarian ministry.
Yeah,
the Ministry of Women.
The thing is, we've tried to reach out to them a lot. We've not had the humanitarian ministry spoken to them, but our goal is to be able to partner with these guys and say, anytime you want to do social interventions, instead of just giving these guys cash, because I know there's no matter how much you give them, that will be enough.
Very true.
A lot of these people have 1 million naira needs, and you're giving them 30K.
No, for the Nigerian sake, I'll say this. Those social intervention only comes up when it's 1 year to election. So,
but even if it is election, even if it's election, let them be able to go to the.
What it?
You know, I tell people, I used to do something called #1 sickness away from poverty, and we see it in our entertainment industry. This guy was a balling actor, was on all the films. Then he has kidney something. Then he's doing GoFundMe. And you're wondering, what happened? This guy was balling. First of all, he wasn't making a lot of money that time. But that's even beside the point. It's the fact that he has no insurance.
So why is Nollywood not partnering with firms like yours?
We are speaking to Nollywood, but Nollywood is a very splintered.
It's not really
together.
Structured.
It's not. There's
structure, but it's different structures. We've tried to speak to a few people, but we'll still continue. I went for a minor surgery last year. I would have spent 1.4 million naira on that minor surgery. I went and came out. 1 naira did not leave my pockets because of health insurance.
A lot of Nigerians will say that if you look at what has... do you think it's a sensitization thing, one? And you don't run an NGO.
No.
So it's not an NGO. Obviously, you're in for profit.
Yeah.
You check your books. You want to make sure it's green at the end of the year.
Yes.
And nobody wants a red.
Yes.
On your balance sheet. But to make sure it is green, you're onboarding people as regards insurance and also selling insurance to people. More people become aware of it and go to the hospital, the less your profits. It can put you at risk. That's why your target audience, if you're talking about health insurance, if I bring my 70-year-old dad right now to you, you chase me away. Yes, on the average. You're going to tell me.
First of all, I will not, but yeah, continue.
But you chase me away. Your business model will naturally push people of such caliber, of such age bracket away. Why? Because it is detrimental to your model. It will put you more at risk.
Yeah.
You don't want to bear that risk of onboarding a 70-year-old man. You can bear the risk of onboarding an 18-year-old guy, 20-year-old guy. Why? Because he's less likely to go to the hospital.
Less likely to use healthcare.
And use healthcare. And so that, I don't want to say that him not going is you making more money.
Yes.
In a way. That's...
But you see,
on a level playing ground. I know.
Now you're speaking the capitalist view.
Yes.
Of this matter.
Yes.
That is why I said.
But you're capitalist. You're not a socialist. We don't run a socialist economy. Obviously, you want to be a unicorn.
So I agree with you.
Yeah.
And that is why you see that Awabah is still the only company that is doing pension tech. at least the one that is out there, the only one I know that is doing pension tech.
But before we go for
The
that,
reason
let's
is
understand Awabah.
yes,
For clarity.
It's even best we even understand. Take a back
Yeah.
story from pensions. You growing up, you hear government has not paid these people their pensions for 12 years, for 1 year, 2 years.
I'm emotional talking about pension.
wow.
I have
Almost all millennials
Okay.
be emotional because
They saw their
Because
fathers.
they saw their father.
Yeah.
battle with all these things. They will go to the government office, queue.
And
Sometimes they sleep
yeah.
at night there.
politicians use it to play God.
Use these people to they use them to play chess. Use them for campaign strategy. And it's quite bad. And
Yeah.
it's been a bad PR for
Yeah.
pensions. That's why you hear people, anything pensions, Gen Z's no one even hear pen, let alone Sean.
Let me give you an example. Sorry to cut you, Frank.
Yeah.
I have a retired mom, a federal government worker, and it's almost a year, no pension has come. So I was just thinking one day, okay, yes, her children are doing well. They can just chip in
money here.
on their year and give to her a month.
But that's not the purpose of pension is so that she will have her own money, even if it is 10K.
Yeah.
A year,
Let her have her own
more
money.
cash has come. So imagine a man that got married late and start having kids late, and his terms of service is expired,
If they find trouble.
and the man has stayed a year.
Yeah.
A year, no income. Do you know how many? Most of them. Okay, I was talking to my mom. I was like, okay, how are your people faring? And she was like, most of them are falling sick.
Yeah.
Most of them are dying.
Dying. Yeah.
Even before they receive their pension, the pension end up going to their kids.
Yeah.
And this pension is taken up to a year. How can we close the gap to a month, pay these guys and let them go and live up their life?
Yeah.
It will to shock you to know that the only thing, some people don't even know how the pension, how the industry works.
No.
If you ask an
So that's
average
the
guy
problem.
how banking
That's the
works,
problem.
they'll tell you banking is designed in such a way that you take money, take it to the bank, you keep it. If they want to give you 0.5% interest in a year, they'll give you if they're magnanimous enough. Or if they don't want to give you, your money is just safe there and is insured by NDIC. People understand that on the average. But even the elites, many of them don't understand how pension works. You get?
So first of all,
Yeah. Let's start from
my father too is in that space. Worked with the Nigerian Television Authority, so he gets his pension from there. Here's the problem with that pension system. That pension system and the pension system I'm talking about are two very separate pension systems, and people don't know. So that pension system was a government pension system where the government decided that everybody that works for us will collect pension. Everybody that is working for us will collect pension. They were not putting anything, there was no contribution.
They're not deducting it from the
They were not, it was just when you finish, we'll pay you pension.
where will it come? Where will the pay come from?
You get?
Why?
So the problem now is that governors, permanent secretaries are now billed with pension that there's no money anywhere to pay for it. Do you get? There was no savings, there's nothing anywhere. So they now have to take from the revenue they have and pay backlogs. So you see, that's a problem, right? That's the thing that they find themselves channeled with. This new pension system started in 2004. It's a contributory pension system where employer and employee contributes a little into the pot. So the money is somewhere. The conversation we're having usually is how do we invest this money to make sure that you have more money when you retire. So, but the regulator makes sure that even if we can't invest it, when you shall retire,
Your money day.
may you see your money, you get that kind of a situation. There's a difference between that pension system and this pension system. That pension system was money coming out. That's why the governors can announce it. We have paid pensions of, because it's an achievement. There's no money anywhere to pay for it. So when they announce it, don't think about them as playing God. It's because they had to squeeze things to make it happen. Because there's no money anywhere. Now some governments and some parastatals have started a contribution pension scheme.
But do you think that it should be left to lie within their discretion instead of making it as a law? You talked about
So there is a law for them
Act.
to, yes, there's a law for them to,
make it contributory.
yes, because the contributory system works. The money is there. Don't forget, the point about contributory is that you are saving small. When we reach that place, if not 10 naira we contribute, let us see the 10 naira. If the person that was investing the 10 naira could now put 300 naira on top of it, we will now have 13 naira. At least, even if that 3 naira cannot be there, let that 10 naira be there. And that is why you see that with the contributory pension scheme, max, worst case scenario, they tell you that 6 months before you retire, start the process. So that max 2-3 weeks after you've retired, your check is waiting for you. Because the bank that is going to pay the check is waiting.
The money is there.
The money is there. We have almost $50 billion of people's money.
That's the largest fund we have in this country. If
$50 billion of people's money waiting to pay them when they retire. So it's not as if you are going to retire and be looking for your money. It's not the former system. The former system, there's no money anywhere. This one is your money is waiting for you to come and collect it. So that's why you see everybody has their account details. You know, when your money is paid, you see the alert, you see that, oh, my money, there's somebody that showed me his own. His balance was almost 19 million naira. But he wants to start a business. So he was asking me, how can he collect it? I said, okay, don't be so. You know, talk to your PFA. But he knows how much his money is. So when he retires, there's no, calculate. Do you get?
Yeah.
There's no, how much I get for there. It's like, I already know how much I'm expecting. Give me my money. Simple.
So how it works is, I'm working. The company has a policy.
Yes,
Deduct
from your own salary, and then the company matches it and then pays into your.
And they pay to where? To the
So you pay to your pension fund administrator.
pension funds and administrator.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the money goes there, and the administrator
How about the custodian?
I was going to say that. So
Okay.
because of that previous system,
Yeah.
where money was just disappearing, the new Pension Act makes it such a way that the pension fund administrator and the pension fund custodian are two different entities. The custodian is like the bank of the administrator.
Oh, the person.
The administrator is the one that decides what to invest in. The custodian is the one that holds the money.
I want to be a custodian.
The administrator never sees the money.
Okay.
Never sees the money. They never see it physically. It never crosses their hand at any point in time. But they are the one that says, "Oh yeah, invest in this, invest in this, invest in this." In fact, when they're about paying you out, they still don't see the money. It's the custodian that gives you the money. But it is because of checks and balances to make sure that what happened before never happens again.
Oh, before there were so many.
Exactly. One person can just sign the check and collect. But for this one, before your money comes out, Pencom has to approve. Custodian has to approve. Administrator has to approve. So 3 different entities.
Is that not bureaucracy?
But we'll see where we are coming from now. See where we are coming from. Is it not better to overdo and make sure that your money is safe
Yeah.
than to, give lapse?
So how do you guys invest the money? I
I
saw a report
Yeah.
and they said, for instance, now this is May 2024,
Yeah.
and this report, I think it was last week,
Yeah.
where they said that the pension fund administrator are putting eyes on treasury bills, having their eyes on federal government bonds. And this is why you see what CBN governor has done. Interest rates, FDR,
Yeah.
currently at 24.75%. We've never had it that high in the history of Nigeria.
Yeah.
Treasury bills, 22%.
Yeah.
FGM bonds,
Yeah.
18%, highest ever had. So everybody, when an instrument is giving you 18%, another one 22%, you won't go there now,
Yeah.
right? And these are instruments that are even quote and unquote termed to be the safest in the world
Yeah.
because it's fixed income.
Yeah.
It's not like equities and capital markets. No, these are fixed income assets. So how do you guys invest it? I'm really interested.
So the thing is the Pension Commission, PENCOM, has created several guidelines on how to invest and has identified few instruments that are safe to invest in.
Mm-hmm.
So you won't see a pension fund administrator invest in crypto.
Okay.
It's not possible.
You cannot. It will not happen. It cannot happen.
Even if it's owned by
You
James
cannot.
J.
It cannot happen. Even
But can't I tell them
they,
that
they,
this is what I want you to invest in?
so yes, based on the things that are available,
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's a guideline of
there's
what
a guideline.
okay.
There's no strain out of that guideline. It is like 7 things that you.
Can you mention them?
No, I'm just saying like 7
Okay.
things, like 7 instruments, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's not like you are going to. You can do 50% one, 25%, but it's still these things that you must invest in.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go out of it. In fact, they can't invest in certain kinds of things, like even real estate and infrastructure. They invest by proxy. So maybe if they want to invest in real estate, maybe the government's treasury bills that they are raising is supposed to be going to infrastructure, then they invest in treasury bills that goes into infrastructure. To do it themselves directly is the guidelines doesn't allow it. Again, do not forget where we are coming from. Because I keep going back. Because yes, the truth about it is that it means that the industry is not as active as your crypto market, your, all those fancy markets.
Yeah.
It's not as, but where we are coming from is not where the crypto is coming from. Crypto doesn't have a father or a mother that didn't pay pension.
Yeah.
You get, so
you need to protect first before even multiplying.
you get, let's protect first. Then, if we can multiply, God help us, but it must be there.
All right.
So that is how it works.
That's how it works.
Okay, so Awabah.
Awabah came in to help distribute the informal sector pensions.
I was going to ask that it looks like you have to have a job before you even like it looks like you have to have a job
to get into the pension space.
Because where will you be contributing from? So how does Nigeria is 78%, or the working class, Nigerian working class is 78%
informal,
self-employed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys, they don't have system and structures per se, quote unquote,
to be able to save it,
to be able to save and do all these things, pensions and all that. So are you saying the informal sector to hell, if you want to hell,
so
when you're old, you can.
So in the amended act, something was created called micro pensions. Micro pensions was designed for informal sector workers. So the difference is, this one is you do it by yourself. No HR will do it for you. You save by yourself. You sign up by yourself. You decide how much you want to put. If you have 1K, if you have 10K, if you don't have, nobody's going to flog you. If you have 1K today and you don't have 1K next week.
You know the crazy part about it is that the awareness is even there about micro pension.
So and I will go back to the basics.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I said we are the only pension tech company I know, is because at the heart of what we are doing is financial inclusion.
Mm.
The heart is financial inclusion.
You're making it juicy to attract people in.
You get, if I look at it from the basis of I want to make the biggest money now, I could be doing remittances. I'm not saying the remittances are easy. I could be doing any other fintech space.
Yeah.
But financial inclusion is the heart of what we are doing. So if it is the heart of what we are doing, then we have to go after the people who we are trying to include financially.
Are you friends to capitalists?
So let me put it this way.
It has a socialist undertone.
Yeah.
It has a socialist undertone.
It's like
it's not the socialist undertone. I am just African.
Mm.
Africa owes money to the rest of the world that can be paid up without a cent left. If, let's say, I want to pick out a few areas. If we took all our foreign reserves, as I'm saying Africa as a block, we take our foreign reserves and we pay it off and say we owe ourselves. Now we owe ourselves. Do you get?
Yeah.
We can.
The world going to pay you tough?
When you want to pay it off,
They still won't control.
You get my point now. If we say all the pension funds in Africa, we want to use it to pay off our foreign debts, we will pay it and still have change. And we say we owe ourselves.
So what will happen to our parents?
No. My point is the money to save Africa is in Africa. Has always been in Africa. But for some weird reason, we have chosen a path that makes us consistently dependent on hands outside Africa to survive.
Oh yeah, that's why the likes of the IMFs and the World Bank, they'll tell you increase this.
So another thing again is, look at it this way. Governance gets better when people are less poor.
True.
If I can alleviate poverty, by extension, I'm improving governance.
But by the same extension, you're weakening their weapon.
My point.
You're disarming the political class.
My point
because
exactly.
It's a weapon to them.
My point exactly. If people are less poor, because yes, you see that, stomach infrastructure, they hand out Indomie and spaghetti. You won't go and collect Indomie and spaghetti. You might collect something else, but you won't collect Indomie and spaghetti, right?
But if they put onion,
you will collect. You will ask for more.
I get.
And because you're asking for more, governance has automatically improved.
Oh yeah, what you demand.
Because I am now not collecting Indomie. I now want spaghetti. I know this might sound funny, but from Indomie to spaghetti is that I now have choice.
Yeah,
my choice is now higher.
Yeah,
you can't use Indomie. Is it Indomie you want me to vote for you for? Give me something better. That is the whole conversation of governance. So that when I'm going to vote, I vote better. Right? So the idea is that if we improve poverty at the bottom of the pyramid, we improve Africa as a whole. How many people in Nigeria are in extreme poverty? Statistics say we're about 100 million people. Those 100 million people are the ones that get into extremism.
I saw in Katsina they're recruiting bandits for 500 naira.
You don't know how terrible that extremism is in those areas. Let me tell you, quick deviation. And people watching this, please just go and Google Lake Chad, the Lake Chad Basin.
Oh, okay.
The Lake Chad Basin is now less than 5% of its original size. Less than 5%.
I think the Lake Chad Basin had Chad, Nigeria, Niger.
Yes, it served all of us water.
Yeah.
But it has now shrunk to less than 5% of its original size. Do you know what it used to do? In the rainy season, the people there will fish. In the dry season, they will farm around the banks. Now that it has shrunk, a lot of them don't have livelihoods. Now, that is why 500 naira can't get you a bandit. If I could fish and farm, your 500 naira won't mean much to me.
Yeah.
You get? Now, what about if I can give you a job that can give you 500 naira?
They don't need to carry arm.
My brother.
But this has socialist.
No, I get it. I get why it sounds socialist, but I don't want to control people. I want us to improve as a people.
Okay.
This is the entire, everybody that has ever heard me in the last 15 years talk about financial inclusion. This is why I was doing it.
True.
Because I believe that if the man on the street has food to eat, he won't need to break my glass because he wants money. You get is enlightened self-interest. It is even more capitalist than you realize. There's a reason why there are neighborhoods in the US that don't have gates. You can't try it in Nigeria now. You can't try it in Nigeria. There are some neighborhoods in the US that don't have gates. Why? I have to count the cost of my crime. Because I know that if I commit that crime, government, they help me. Those social interventions, they check the
benefits.
You get, I'll have to count the cost. But the man on the street here has nothing. So crime is a natural next option for him. If I improve his life, I have improved his life and I've made mine and my family safer.
Yeah, true.
I'm thinking kind of about myself, but again, I am one of those people that believe Africa is superior to the rest of the world.
Pan-Africanist.
So I believe Africa is superior in many things. You want to look at, let's even start with Nigerians. A Nigerian will just go to anywhere in the world. He doesn't, very little education becomes top wherever he or she is.
As a matter of fact, do you know that as a Nigerian, I heard the story yesterday. A Nigerian actually has a company that is worth $2.1 billion in the US now.
Currently?
Not currently. What they do is they clean kidney.
See?
Like, let's be that I'm saying the fact. You can continue, but once I get...
So you see, the fact is this. I believe that what the world has used to trap us is this poverty thing. Because if we are poor enough, we will start asking questions of our leaders, first of all, then the rest of the world. Do you get?
Mm-hmm.
We will start asking those questions. Because why would I do a resource for infrastructure project as a government? What a resource for infrastructure project means is that I won't build bridge. I go to meet China and I say, China, I want to build this bridge. China says, oh, fantastic, we'll build it for you. China brings the materials, China brings the technology, and the worst part about it,
the manpower.
They bring the manpower from China to build everything. They've done, no cash has exchanged hands, and then you pay them with your oil or whatever resources for the next 30 years.
That's how they deal it. But I heard something too that most of them...
Let me tell you that
Okay.
This story, I think, is something that a lot of Nigerians don't know. Dr. Okeze, Nigerians are known for their hustle, and Dr. Ikena Okeze is a prime example. This Nigerian-American physician is the CEO of Somatos, a billion-dollar company revolutionizing kidney care in the United States. Somatos focuses on preventive measures and empowering patients to manage their own health. $2.5 billion healthcare company. That is just one.
And this is, I'm sure that Dr. Jackpot,
yes, exactly.
You get left. Imagine if he had stayed and there was the enabling environment for him to do what he did here. You know how many people we would have employed?
They would even attract the foreign people to come in.
So my point is, at first I thought I could preach this to the world and let all of us do it together. But then as you grow older, you start to realize your limitation as a human being.
Mm.
And then you say, what corner of the world can I influence? What small portion of the world can I influence in such a way that I can leave my mark? Hopefully, if there are like 100 of us doing it in small places, there will be a multiplier effect. So,
is there any plan for Awabah to have agents across the nation?
We have
agents.
We have.
I've not.
We have we're still a small company.
Oh, okay.
Don't compare us with those big companies. We're in Abuja, we're in Port Harcourt, we're in Kwara, we're in Ibadan, and Lagos.
No, I'm looking at a system whereby I can go to a money point now and say, okay, I want to pay for my pension at Awabah.
Yes, you're speaking into the future, but yes, we've already started integrations with MoneyPoint.
Okay.
And so right now there are a few ATMs, cash POS machines across the country where you could go and you will pay for your healthcare with those POS machines.
Okay.
And we have started deploying those POS machines to a few agents free of charge. We don't charge the agents for those POSs. They go and prosper, do your cash in, cash out, but make sure that when people come and they say they want to pay for value buy, they can do it.
Because you're not an NGO, so how do you guys make money?
So here's the thing.
It boils down to,
it always boils down to that.
If I see somebody telling me that something is free or is next to free, I'm always very scared.
Yeah.
Because if I'm most likely the product or something.
Yeah.
It's just like
so it's enlightened self-interest.
Okay.
There are two things I know. The space I'm trying to serve is slow at the beginning, heavy at the end. If I cover my informal sector properly, even the banks have nothing on me. You get what I mean? The banks don't have, I don't know how many customers they have, but the banks don't have 70 million customers. That is the informal sector. If I cover that space, I'm bigger than everybody else. So it's more about what is the grand scheme? What is the end goal? What is the vision? Can we get from here to there? How can we sustainably get from here to there? So for me, I would rather earn a 20% margin to get us there than earn 100% margin and know that I can only sell to you guys. Do you get? Because if I do the 100%,
well, increases your OPEX though.
Well, yes and no.
You're servicing the unbanked.
Yes.
You're servicing. Do you know the cost of education?
Yeah.
If I have to create a market, before I sell to that market, it costs me more. My operation cost is high.
Yes.
Why? Because I'll now have to pay to enlighten somebody on why he needs the product.
No.
That person.
No. So yeah, I get. So I would educate the person on what my product is, not on why they need the product. There is no product in this world that you are selling that the user doesn't know the use of it.
There are.
Let me explain what I mean.
Okay, explain.
Let me explain what I mean.
Yeah.
Value bar is a product. I said health insurance, life insurance, accident cover, micro pensions.
Yeah.
All of these things have a product that everybody is using without using it. Micro pensions. Everybody has children. You have 6, 7, hoping that one will blow. That's your pension. Abi?
Yeah.
Life insurance.
No,
God will not. Jesus will not allow it. Jesus will not allow it.
Yeah.
Health insurance. We have Agbo. I know they fall ill, right?
Yeah.
Me, I know they fall ill anyhow.
Odeshi.
You get accident cover. Odeshi. So there is a use. So there's an alternative to the products I'm selling. What I am just telling you is that there is a technology to do all these things you are doing that would be different from the way you were doing it before. So I wanted to say something about OPEX.
Yeah.
So there was something you said earlier about once these people I'm serving fall ill a lot, I want them to. No. I'm not saying this in a bad way.
Yeah.
I'm saying this because the only way things go far in the informal space is word of mouth. Radio jingles don't work. TV adverts don't work. Word of mouth works. So if you go use my product and you go to the hospital and they treat you and you didn't pay 1 naira, guess what you will do when you get back to your shop?
You
You go, yeah.
You will tell the world.
You get? That is what I'm hoping for. I'm actually hoping for you to go back, come use the product, see how it works. You just paid 2,000. There was a man he used our pharmacy care product. So he paid, and I think that pharmacy product at the time was 1,000 naira. He used it, and then he went to the pharmacy. He went to a MedPlus. And then he came back. He now called us. He was a bit confused.
They did not charge me.
No, not even they didn't charge me. He said the drugs I got, he said they gave him bottled water. So he's confused. It's like the drugs and the water is more than the 1,000 I paid. He was now confused and he was worried for us. He said, won't you people go out of business like this? We now have to start explaining to him that you don't understand how health insurance works.
Please, I think you need to explain how it works. Because actually, people are confused.
So health insurance really is like financial inclusion. All of us put money in here, and then the healthy take care of the sick. So it's not every month you fall ill.
I've not been to the hospital in like 6 months.
So people like you, HMOs love you. Do you get? Because you take care of the people that are sick. Do you get?
That's why I was saying that.
Frank is
That's why I was saying that your model always repels my dad, who's like 70. People of that
No,
age
but
bracket.
even your dad,
Yeah.
we are, because again, like I said, if you
Don't be politically
I'm
correct.
not politically correct.
In business
So there
terms.
is
Yeah.
health care for the aged. There's even health care, there's a HMO for the chronic illnesses, existing chronic illnesses. So if you had diabetes, if you had hypertension, there is HMO specifically for you, which we are deploying. My thinking is, I love to serve people, but I want to serve them in areas that is really important. Yes, it may look like it is slower now,
Yeah.
but I'm looking at the upsides. So the problem you would have is that very few people want to look at the pain now and upsides later.
Okay.
I have just decided to do it. I could also do it the way all the big boys are doing it. Make money, build a big bank that has a group, and then come back and start giving out grants. I could do that.
I'm just hearing somebody's name here.
I could do that.
Don't say it. We want him on the podcast.
The thing is this: everybody sees it. Everybody sees it when you come into financial services. You know what the people really need, but then you have to ask yourself: do I give them what they need, or do I give them what I need? And most of the time, we go after what I need, right? So we have decided to go after what people need, and we're banking on the fact that more people, as they taste our product, see that it's good, sell it. Let me tell you one thing that is amazing. 11,000 customers. We've not done one advert.
11,000 customers. No
We've
one.
not done advert.
So how do you onboard?
He said it word of mouth. You know here.
We've not done one advert. It's not like we don't want to do advert.
Yeah.
I want to have the money for advert, Neo. So that you don't think it is one strategy.
I wanted to ask, how's your marketing budget like?
We don't have, my brother. Maybe you just heard all the things we've said. We can't afford a marketing budget.
But is there webinars?
So we do those things. So those things that are free,
On
those things
YouTube
that,
Live?
yes. So we do all those things, Instagram.
Because if not, Frank, I wouldn't have known.
$200,000 when that was
2001,
precede
2021.
precede,
Yes.
and they are the verge of raising and
When they give us the second one.
Because I feel there's a massive need for it. I don't know, since Frank brought it to my distance.
yeah.
And I'm building a new with Godfather production now. We're coming in more as in we have been there for 17 years, but we haven't really been there as a company.
Yeah.
So we are turning into a company that becomes a studio soon, that can expand its franchise into all those places. And this is something I'll put on the table. I say, okay, let's buy this insurance.
So you see the beautiful thing about it. Every time I speak to employers of gig workers, they always say this. It's always at the back of their mind that I should give my workers some sort of care.
Yeah.
But because, first of all, the care that you see outside is expensive.
True.
So that just discourages many people. So what we said to ourselves was, we need these people to have care. Minimum, let them have something. So we made sure that there was something on the table for them. So again, like I said, word of mouth is so important because 11,000 people, no advertising, no radio jingle, no billboard. How do you do it?
So I would ask that.
It is when you go to the hospital, it's when that man that went to the pharmacy comes back and he says, I saw something to do. See what he He even took picture and sent to us. He was so shocked because I think it was malaria and typhoid. So they gave him the typhoid drug alone was more than 1,000. So the man was already afraid. He felt that as he was going out, they would just stop him and say, "Hey, there's change."
Yeah.
You get. But the thing is, by the time we have thousands of millions of people knowing about the service, and when we have enough money to do advertising, we'll be able to reach more people. I know that with more advertising, we can reach millions. But I can tell you that the product is so useful to the point where zero advertising, 11,000 people.
So what happens if your calculation doesn't go as planned? So for instance, your business model, you're looking, I asked this question because I was a part of, I'm still a part of a team that we're about building something similar, but in the healthcare space. And we're trying to pry into the business model of health insurance and all that. And I've forgotten what it's called. It's called one particular name. I've forgotten. But then, like, you check your database and you check. You say, okay, these are the number of people that can fall ill.
Yeah.
Then you now do your calculation.
Yeah.
And you send a quotation to a company for you get my point. What are your staff strength and all? Peradventure that year is the company of COVID.
Yeah.
Let's say the COVID is just designed for that company, and almost all the staff members are visiting hospital like every quarter.
Yeah.
And you end up funding.
Yeah.
You end up running at a deficit, running at a loss with that particular business model for that particular client.
Yeah.
How do you now
manage it?
How do you manage it? Because it's put you at risk.
Yeah.
You're running at a deficit. You're funding something that you didn't expect. How is it?
So the first thing about insurance is that you need actuarists, actuarial scientists to be able to price the product properly. And you also make sure that the cover is specific. So one of the things we did was that we were very particular about what we wanted. We didn't just say, you now have health insurance. We tell you, when you get admitted in the hospital, you are going to be in the general ward. You can't access dental till month 3 of consistent subscription. So we were able to make those things clear. You get.
So you unlock new level at every point.
Exactly. So in our own thinking is a case of, we need to give this. So the thing is, there's nothing that is impossible. If you are determined to give the people service, you will think out a solution. You might not be able to give this in month 1 till like month 7, but as long as you tell the customer, you get. So those are the things. I remember one of the biggest things that were our concern was that we wanted women to have pregnancy care. Women who signed up to our service to be able to, if she's pregnant, to be able to go to the hospital and give birth. And no provider wanted to give it to us. For that price point, we went around. We had meetings. We went back and forth. We fought. Finally we found one. But I say again, you have to be determined.
Resilient.
You get.
Yeah.
So again, it is possible that we could get to the point where we get overwhelmed because we are trying to be that value-driven product.
I think I've seen a particular product get to that level. Last year, my wife is a HR.
Yeah.
And she onboards HMOs.
Oh, okay.
You get. So last year, one of the HMOs they use, I'll not just mention their name, but I'm tempted to, but one of the HMOs they use went to a particular hospital and they said they've stopped using them. We asked why. They said, they know they pay.
Yeah.
You get.
Yeah.
So, like, that is coming from the service provider. Yeah. That's why I asked that question. So that happens. Sometimes you might find yourself
that happens a rabbit hole. So again,
that you won't be able to.
You know the providers that will not do. You know the providers that shouldn't do that, or those providers that you don't want to work with that do things like that. You have to be very, very careful. It's a reputational business. If somebody goes to the hospital and is not able to get care and comes back, the person is angry.
Nah,
You've lost that. So you keep. Let me tell you something about customer care. My team knows, because my customers a lot of the time are either speaking pidgin or local dialects. A lot speak English, but most of the time you find people speaking local dialects. And I've realized that a large portion of the customers that we serve usually feel that people are trying to look down on them. So when they go to a hospital and they say they want care, they will go to the hospital from the perspective of, there's say make I come here, say if I fall sick, then una go treat me, right? That's the way the person will say it to the hospital, not understanding that healthcare has a protocol where show us your ID, we will confirm, and then you get.
But what if it's an emergency?
No. So in those cases, as long as we know, we'll be able to intervene before you get to the hospital.
Okay, so they will have to call the HMO first.
They can just use a USSD code. We'll send it. We'll do something.
Okay.
So the idea is that person already feels agitated. Why is this person talking to me anyhow? The person don't even respect me, and then the person reaches out to us. We ensure courtesy. We treat the person with so much courtesy that the person is disarmed. Like, why did they treat me like this? Now, on top of this 2.5, why I pay?
Okay.
Yeah. You get, this 2.5, why this person did? And then the person is shouting at us. I'm like, sorry, sir. I still pick customer service calls till tomorrow. I have my own phone. I pick customer service call. I'm like, sorry, sir, what is the issue? And then the person is like, they didn't even answer me at all. I'll be like, so what hospital is that? The person tells me, okay, sorry, sir, we'll call them right away. And then the person comes back. And when the person goes to their office, it's a good story.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to talk about, but we don't have time here. On the final note, I would also like to put it this way.
Yeah.
Where do you see the future of insurance, the future of pensions? Because it looks like you play in... you've married all of those different sectors, insurance, pensions, and these are very, very. There's a lot of money that people don't even know about.
Yeah.
So what's the future? What's the future?
So there's a book called The Future of Insurance. If you read it, it echoes what I think. What we will see with insurance is what we are seeing with banking now. And we will continue to see. So there was a time people thought fintechs were going to replace banks. I don't think so. Fintechs will be fintechs. They will grow to be big fintechs, strong fintechs, but banks will remain banks.
Should I tell you what Money Point made last year? The transaction, $150 billion worth of transaction on Money Point.
Should I tell you what GT did?
How about
anyways, let's go.
Access 1 quarter.
Let's go now.
So 1 quarter, 1 trillion assets.
You get, so don't even play.
Okay.
There will be, the bigger the banks get, the bigger the fintechs will get. So everybody will focus on their market segments. Insurance and pensions will be the same. There will always be an Awabah. But there will always be an ARM pensions, a Stanbic IBTC, there will always be those guys. There will be Fidelity pensions. I can't mention all the names, but there will Access pensions. There will always be those guys. But there will always be Awabahs. Because Awabah plays in a space that is difficult for them to step down to play. Not that they don't know how to do it.
You've gone for the crumbs.
No, his market.
So there's no need to fight them.
True.
They're too big.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Tunji, who would you love for us to bring on the chair, and what question would you want for us to ask the person?
Yes, there's somebody that is doing fantastic work in the space of healthcare, health tracker.
Health tracker. Okay.
Please bring her on.
What's her name?
Ife.
Ife.
She did a conference about women recently.
So
What
so
question?
you know why I love what she's doing?
Yeah.
And I'm one of her customers. You can get they can do the comprehensive health check for you in your home. You pay and somebody comes, does the prick your, you do the same samples, you give them, they give you a test.
What question do you have to ask her?
Why? Why did she choose? It's weird because I don't understand it, but because it's such a useful place to be in. And, everybody has overlooked it. Even they do STD checks. They call in Lemon.
Okay.
STD checks, which you don't expose yourself. You know that one that you go to the hospital,
Yeah.
You'll now be looking at the nurse that is going to tell you.
So fine boy like you get good. Yeah.
She's a fantastic product. So I love what she does. But I need to understand, and I've never asked her, she's a good friend of mine, why? It'll be great to know why she's doing the service she's doing.
Final question. Doctors are leaving Nigeria. We're seeing the exodus of doctors, Jackpot. And do you think that this will affect the general health insurance system?
No. I think...
Why?
Two things. I think we will always have more doctors. The space, the sky is too broad for people to fly. That person you spoke about earlier had to go to that place to go and do it. But in Nigeria here, there's a GB that created Flutterwave. Everybody would flourish wherever they are. I actually think we need more people to go and do those kind of things so that they can come back and bring the technology they've learned and come and institute it here. The Toyotas, the Audis, those cars that were created in those places were done here. The technology was learned from the US, the UK, taken back to Japan, China, wherever, and created. Toyota is the piston the technology was learned outside Asia, but then it's now the Asian tigers are the ones that are leading that space. So I think I would love to see more doctors go, more doctors come through. I would love to see us, develop our healthcare system. Let those guys that have jackpot go and make money and come back and invest in the health sector. Let them come and be the funders of our teaching hospitals. Just the same way there's a something Kennedy University. Let there be that man teaching hospital in Ibadan. Do you get? So let them come back and bring the money back. So everybody that is going, let them go. Let's support them to go. But let's also remind them that
no place like home.
Wherever you go, you remember the road that will lead you.
Exactly. No problem.
That will lead you. But they Thomas. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, we've had an amazing time talking to Tunji Andrews, the founder of Awabah, doing amazing stuff in the insurance space and the pension space, and also transforming the informal sector. So as a woman in the market, perhaps you're selling pepper, man in the market, perhaps you're selling meat, and you're turning your numbers into the Nigerian GDP. But it looks like health insurance only goes to the man in the capital market who has his business system, structures, and all that. This is a niche market, and now we're seeing somebody who's come to solve that problem. Honestly, thank you very much for coming to the Frankly Business Podcast.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for giving me a voice.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for bringing me into the media. I'm going to say that again and again and again.
Thank you for doing what you do. It has nothing to do with me. I was just part of the. I was just there on the way to where you are going to. I had nothing to do with it.
Kelechi.
Yeah. Don't run up on anybody again.
Don't please run up. It works. It works.
I'm just messing with you. But I think you're a clear example of you should always shoot for the stars and chase after it. And what you're also doing, I want more sensitization to it because my mom stays in communities that don't have access to this. We feel like Lagos is all about the big places, Lekki, Ikeja, and the rest, and most of the advert goes to those places. There are places that are still yet unknown, very, very well underserved in terms of health, and I hope you guys get to those places.
We hope so.
And use more agents to access.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so that's my feedback, Frank.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Bye. Like, share, subscribe. On to the next episode. Keep telling the story of the Frankly Business Podcast. Cheers.
The real conversation happens beyond the boardrooms. Join me at an intersection of business and lifestyle, where suits meets t-shirts. This is the Frankly Business Podcast. Welcome.